Hi, my name is Kiana Rivas, and I'm a Mexican American. And this is When Two Worlds Combine and Interconnect. This here is my mom, Cecilia, and she was born in Juarez, Mexico. She came to the US when she was 16 as a student. This is my dad, Felipe. He came to the US when he was about 5, and he's from Durango, Mexico. This is me. I was born in the US in 1998, and it's my Mexican roots that make me a Mexican American. So, what does being Mexican American mean to me, and how did my family influence me? While throughout my whole childhood and early life, my family has always placed an emphasis on my Mexican roots and culture, it was not until now that I realized why. There are so many stereotypes about Mexico, its culture, and its people. My parents tried to find a balance between assimilating to the American culture to avoid discrimination and persuading me to embrace my background. Being a Mexican American to me means being bicultural and bilingual, but it also means trying to find a way to preserve my Mexican heritage in a way that my American culture does not influence or affect how I see my background. Because living in America, it is so easy to let my American culture dominate and influence every aspect of my life. These two cultures have both combined in different aspects of my life, but have also, in certain ways, caused a loss of culture on the side of my Mexican background. And this is due to the need to assimilate, but also to American culture influence. Religious beliefs, holidays, and traditions. As an infant, I was baptized in the Catholic Church, and I also went to church frequently with my parents. We also celebrated Navidad. And Easter in a way that was centered around the Catholic religion and pay tribute to Jesus Christ. Another important tradition was the Mexican birthday party celebrations, which was with piñatas and, the frequent birthday cake face plants. Because I am part American, we also celebrated things like Halloween. And Thanksgiving, which are American holidays. Mexican tradition and Catholic religion frowns upon divorce. So when my mom got a divorce, it was her that it was she who took the biggest hit because, she was kind of isolated from our Mexican community and kind of frowned upon. I remember growing up, there was, rumors going around that I wasn't going to graduate because I came from a single household. And also, as a single mother and an immigrant, she wasn't able to provide me with the option of having a quinceañera and a car. So when I turned 15, I was given an option between the two. And a quinceañera is when a girl turns 15 in the Mexican culture. She's considered to have turned into a woman. So, they celebrate and throw a big party in her honor. Um, and I feel like that is a huge loss of culture because that is a very important tradition in our culture. But as as a single mother and an immigrant, she she tried her best. Growing up, I always listened to my grandmother sing and play traditional Mexican music like Vicente Fernandez.
Que Dios me ha mandado no más para mí.
And through my parents, I was exposed to juvenile Mexican and Mexican American styles such as Pedro Fernandez,
Yo te aseguro que yo no fui. Mira, chaparra, que yo no fui. Yo te aseguro que yo no fui.
Mexican American music like Selena, and the cumbia queens.
Contigo que yo quiero estar contigo. Mira.
This kind of music that my parents introduced me to is very popular here in the US. However, it is a disconnect from the traditional and authentic Mexican music that my grandmother kind of taught me. But also, growing up, it was this music that my parents taught, exposed me to that I listened to the most, not the traditional Mexican music. Growing up, I was also exposed to traditional Mexican food, like tamales, but there was also certain occasions where the two cultures, the Mexican and American, combined to create things like enchiladas gringas and and American tacos. There's also lots of culture in the fact that my grandmother is the last one of our family who knows how to cook our family's traditional Mexican recipes. Language. Growing up, my father always emphasized the importance of, preserving my native language, which was Spanish. However, growing up, I kind of started to lose that fluency, and I never really was taught to write in Spanish fluently. 78% of first generation Mexicans are very fluent in Spanish. It's the third generation that's 48% fluent, and the second generation is 58% fluent. However, my generation is only 36% fluent. Fluency has decreased dramatically by the fourth generation to 36%. And this is very unfortunate because it is language that is very important. However, it's the continuing influx of American immigrants into Mexican American communities which helps keep Spanish alive. Addressing discrimination and stereotypes is very important because it is this discrimination and the need to assimilate that influenced my family and how I grew up. Growing up, I heard things like, you don't look Mexican American, and all Mexicans are illegals, and Mexicans are lazy, wetbacks. And now, from our own president, things like they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, and they're rapists. This is a big issue because growing up, my mom and my dad were kind of, embarrassed of their roots because they were kind of frowned upon, including speaking Spanish. And while I was growing up, that kind of went away. But it was kind of always a part of them. But now it's kind of coming back. In the aftermath of the election, there have been hundreds of documented instances of discrimination, harassment, and even violence against members of minority communities. And a big minority is the Mexican American and Mexican Latin, roots. The problem with this is that Trump is shining the light on immigration, but he's specifically shining the light on Mexican Americans by, calling us drug dealers and, saying that we're bringing crime and that we're rapists. And this is very concerning because, we fear for the safety of our families. And, here's an instance where at a school in Washington State, students chanted, "Build a wall in a cafeteria." This kind of, behavior by our president is kind of inciting violence against our people, and it's kind of the same, discrimination that caused assimilation among Mexican Americans and among my family. However, it is through us Mexican Americans that our roots are being, shown to the rest of the world, because we are the daughters, the sons, the granddaughters, the grandsons of, immigrants. And unfortunately, there is no guideline to being a Mexican American. But it is up to us, to portray our roots and show the world that we aren't a bunch of criminals and rapists and drug dealers. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. Here's the bibliography. I hope you enjoyed.